Hey, everybody. I am super glad to be able to share with you a class that I have pondered, taught several times, but consider one of the most foundational teachings and body of principles and knowledge that you could have in any phase of life. And that's the subject of boundaries. This class that I'm sharing about today is called Boundaries, the Doorway to Thriving. I have discovered in my own life and in helping lots and lots of leaders that boundary is like a hidden key. It's right in front of us. It's like underneath, a magazine on the table. It's right there, but many people have not heard about it, listened to it, read a book on it, or put in the work to gain all the benefits that come from healthy boundaries. A lot of times we live with others pulling and demanding on us so much, and we lack the knowledge or the skills or the resources to say no to things that we really don't think we should do, and then say yes to things that we really should. We get kind of pulled and pushed and moved around by life. Well, boundaries stops all that and changes the whole course of your trajectory as you take back ownership of your life. That's what boundaries do. I'm going to share a little bit a PowerPoint here that 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 gives you some ideas of what the course will be like, and so let me just do that now and share with you. And I'd love for you to join in. This course is going to be provided at a time frame whether you live in the United States, in the UK, or in South Africa. We have some students coming from there. You can jump in. So that'll be on this video YouTube um, post where you can see the dates. Well, it begins Tuesday, November 17th. It's a journey together towards thriving. I've used the image here of the roots of a tree. Um, Boundaries are huge to building great roots and building with God and in your life, that your tree can grow strong and steady and stable. So I want you, please consider jumping in and taking this. What will we learn? Let me share a little bit briefly about my own story. I came through the military, where I was a helicopter pilot and a commission officer, and then corporate America. I worked for a large corporation called General Electric. Then I came into ministry. I've always had a lot of energy and wanted to do things, but I never heard about boundaries. And so I several episodes of just crashing through, not having healthy margin, and then and not stewarding time and relationships well, so that things could build. And this is the key for the long haul. So I never heard about it. And then through a crisis of belief season, we all go through them. Henry Blackaby calls that, you go through a crisis of belief and you need to learn something new. I started to hear through counselors and friends and leaders that were further along the subject of boundaries, and I studied it deeply, and I've worked at it. I've studied and applied and prayed tons about this, and I want to give you the best that I have. What I began to discover is that when you have healthy boundaries, you're more in control. I found I began to have the ability to say yes and no, and know what's important to me and know what's not, and walk in greater freedom and greater joy, and actually bear more fruit with less stress. Who doesn't want that? That's the story of boundaries for me, and I want to share and encourage you and give you as much as I can so you can experience a level of thriving you've never seen before. Boundaries is a doorway to that. It ended up with a book here called Mining for Gold, which you can buy on Amazon. But a lot of the principles that I'll be sharing in the course are rooted in this whole principle of mining for gold, developing leaders that thrive through the principle of coaching. What's it really all about, this course on boundaries? Well, it's about taking ownership for your life choices, taking ownership for your preferences, for your time, for your dreams. I like to say things like this way, that like a great investor just looks at money a certain way and says, they view it as investment and as a tool to build wealth, to achieve their goals. Time is like that, for everyone. If you began to view your time and your choices and your energy and what you said yes and no to through the lens like an investor would look at money, you wouldn't you wouldn't just throw money everywhere. You wouldn't walk down the street and throw money out. I mean, that would be crazy. You'd invest it where you saw you wanted to get a return, or that money, do the things that you want to do. That's what our time is like. And we need to have ownership of our time and stewardship of it. Secondly, to know more clearly what you want in your relationships. What do you want in your career? What do you want to have happen, and have clarity about that, so that your yeses and your nos are moving in the direction of where you feel passionate about and called and excited. And you need to know that clearly. Boundaries will help you with that. To say yes to what's helpful and no to what is not helpful. A lot of times we will get into difficult situations and we'll see something bad happening and we'll just make this wall. I'm never going to talk to them again, or I'm never going to associate with that again. It that seems on the surface good, but it's not good, because a wall is not what we're after. We're after boundaries, which are fences, dividing lines with gates. And we open the gate to good things, yes, and we close the gate to bad things, so we can take care of our garden. And walls are not boundaries. So we learn to operate that gate of yeses and nos to help us. Fourthly, boundaries really take off when you know how to communicate them clearly with respect and with confidence. If you haven't built those muscles, you get pushed around. You'll say, hey, in this situation, this was quite painful for me, and I would not like that to happen again. And I'm just letting you know that if that happens again, I'm going to do this over here. I'm not being disrespectful, but that's what I need for my life. If you don't have confidence in those boundaries, you share that boundaries, and the next time somebody comes in and just tries to bull you over or manipulate you and take you in a direction, if you don't have confidence, you can just give in. But if we learn to communicate with respect and confidence, those boundaries hold, life remains stable and healthy, and we can get the things out of life that God wants us to have and we want. And then there's all kinds of different aspects around boundaries. Fears, we all have them. A victim thinking is very dangerous. The blame game, all of those are not good boundaries, because you're not taking responsibility for what's yours. A boundary is like I'll teach this in the class, like a hula hoop. And that hula hoop around me is what I'm responsible for. I'm not responsible for you. I'm not responsible for what's inside my wife's boundary or my kids or my team or staff. I'm responsible for Tom. That's what we need to learn. We're responsible to people, but not for them. Um, Unless you're taking care of a little child or something, that's a little bit different. So let's keep going. The height of a skyscraper is only going to be determined by the depth and the strength of its foundation. It's true in our walk with Christ. If you want to flourish and go far and mature and bear lots of fruit and have a lot of joy and freedom, build up a strong, thriving, house, a skyscraper, you have to have a strong foundation. And boundaries is a foundational teaching. It's underneath it all. It prepares you for a lifetime and years and years of solidness underneath everything, so you can bear the fruit and become all that God meant you to be. There's a lot of stuff going on inside of us, and there are cracks in our foundation. We can perform, we can do things for selfish motives, we can view ourselves as a victim, we can see ourselves as a slave, we can have all kinds of things, shame and fear inside of us, and then other people's shame and fear can control us. And then we end up with these fractured relationships, or even being separated from God, or striving and being so stressed out, trying to take care of everyone, or the inability to rest, or it's all up to me. There's no one here to help. This focus on an unhealthy focus on self and pleasing people and others, it's killing a lot of us. What boundaries can do is set you free from that and help you come out of broken places and get solid in your walk, solid in your relationships, and bear lots of fruit. So what will you get? Each boundary principle is like a brick. You're going to get more joy and freedom to be you. Be you to the glory of God. You're going to have more energy for the important things because you're going to stop this drain of just doing everything and give energy to the important things. You're going to have more authority and confidence to say and do the things that you want to do. You'll have more margin for things like rest and going on vacation and pursuing important things because you'll have set that in place in with good boundaries. And then living healthy, thriving relationships bear tons of fruit. So I want to just say, please consider this. Starts November the 17th. And it'll be, I think, the times will get confirmed, but you'll be able to see it in the United States, see it in the UK, see it in South Africa, hopefully, or anywhere you want to join in the world. So I'll be praying for you. Consider jumping in and joining on this. It matters. Boundaries are, I think they're the hidden key that many of us need to thrive. God bless you. I look forward to seeing you soon.